Hi guys, I'm Cordy and I'm super excited you're here to do a little drawing with me. This project was inspired by a little alien guy that I designed for my oil painting video, and I really wanted to do something with him. He was only on the thumbnail of that video, so I decided I'm going to design a banknote that is from another planet. So here we go. So for the first bit, we're going to need a ruler or a triangle, a pencil, and an eraser. So first we're going to go for the elements that are going to be popping out of the banknote. So we're going to have to draw this sort of elongated cube or block shape. So I'm going to freehand draw it first. So first get that elongated shape and then the lines that make it look like a three-dimensional block. Parallel lines here. And then I'm going to use the ruler, or I have a triangle, you can use a ruler, to get those lines nice and straight. And next we're going to add little sort of rods that poke through so it looks kind of out of this world, like a little special symbol. I'm going to round the edges of there and then just add a grid. It can be completely random. Later on, when we use the fine liner, we're going to just pick out a couple of elements out of that grid. So here's the grid all over, and later we're going to put the shadow there after we added some color. So the next bit is the alien head that is going to be on the banknote, and this here, those little edge points that I'm trying to figure out, they're going to be sort of a design element that's going to be behind the head. So it will have to be stretched as well. I'm just sort of pointing out the corners there. And now we're going to add the head. Also stretched downward a little bit. The smile is stretched downward. Nose, the eyes are also egg shape instead of round, and the top of the head, the ears also a little longer, more towards the stretch towards the bottom than it usually would be. Little markings on his nose and the pieces in the eye that are the reflection antennas. And now we're off to some more elements. I'm going to add some alien writing, like I know what that is. Anyway, I just came up with some shapes to make it look alien. And I'm just adding them in between the two that I made. And then on this side, I want to add some different alien script, more like more delicate and fine. And then down here, we're gonna add some more blocky alien writing that is supposed to be the worth. I'm guessing. I'm just making stuff up as I go. So we're gonna add a little bit of decoration around that upper writing there. In my mind, that's the name of the bank. Just, drawing it as I go. Here is the little, and to connect these two elements, I'm going to draw another element here and another one on the left side there. Little detail. So for around the corners, I want sort of like a crystal kind of look. So just draw the outlines first, just sort of edges, and then connect the edges randomly into like triangles or, other shapes with edges. So it looks quite sharp. Somewhere up here, and I think we're ready to do some fine lining. Use the 0.8 for around the corner, 0.3 for pretty much everything else, and the 0.05, the super fine one, I'll use for the crystals and some other little details on the writing. So let's get started with the corner. I'm not going to use the ruler. I want the corners to be edgy and a little bit torn up. So I'll just use my hand and the jitters of my hand to make it a little bit more organic. And I'll add some tiny little tears, it dips down into the banknote, so it looks a little bit worn. So like I said, for the rest of it all, I'll just use a 0.3. And now we're coming back to our grid. I'm gonna pick out just a few squares or shapes on that cube, just completely random to make it look like it's kind of a code or something. So I'm gonna use the left corner, the right there, and then across the top, just a couple of them to make it look a little bit more interesting. Now next up, I'm gonna calligraphy that writing up there a little bit, just make a couple of pieces a bit thicker. And for the crystals, you also want to use the 0.05 to outline those, to get it really fine and delicate around those edges. Now it's time to get some color involved. I'm going to use my Inktense colored pencils to get a really good, nice and bright base. I want to go with a gradient from right to left, from green to yellow, and in the middle I'm using orange and pink to sort of create a texture there. For the area behind our little alien, I use pink, and it's going to be a little bit of a darker pink, and the alien itself I'll use green. Here we go. And then with those Inktense pencils, they get really bright and vibrant when you add water to them. So I'm just going to go over with a very fine brush over the entire banknote that we've created so far and get that ink activated in those pencils. When everything's dry, I add some markers to the mix, a blue one for our cube, leaving those little cubes that we drew just white. They get some color later on. I'm going to add the blue as well to the writing up here, just filling it in, and a little lighter blue for the words, and some pink for the side stripes. Now that very same pink I'll use in some areas of our crystals. We're going to add some more different colors to those little pieces, a little bit of a darker pink here, distributing out the colors evenly. Here we go, and then green. I've got two types of greens all around, and another green, a little bit of a darker green. We want this to sort of look like it's sparkling and some sort of secret, out of this world type of crystal. Here's another shade of green. All right, I think we got them all now. Now we do the same thing for those squares over on our block, and the rest gets a sort of mid-grayish tone. Now off to the pastel pencils to get some more detail, a dark, to bring a little bit more detail out in our alien face. And I'm going to use yellow to give that alien a little bit of a glow. For our banknote and around that pattern that we made, we're going to add a little yellow as well, darker pink, and a purple to make it look a little bit deeper behind the head. And then we add some pastels, a little darker blue to our block to give it a little bit more dimension, dark on the sides and a little bit lighter here on the front side. Here we go, and a little bit of white to make it a bit more visible, the reflections. And for the writing at the top, we want to kind of see if we can get a little bit of like a metallic effect. So on the right side of the letters, I'll use the white, on the left the black, and then with the white you want to add a couple of reflections into that black, then it kind of looks embossed. The same thing we'll do for the rest of the patterns and the writing, black on the left, white on the right, and then adding a little bit of highlights. Now my favorite part, adding the white Posca pen, just bringing out some more highlights here around the pattern. And then, of course, in our crystals. Next up is the last piece, the shadows underneath those elements that we want to sort of hover off our banknote. I use a pencil and my trusty paper stump to blend the shadows in a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Look at the left side at the cube. Is it hovering? Yeah, tiny little bit. Let's check out our alien face. Is it hovering? Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, it comes popping out a little bit off the page. All right. Hope you had fun drawing this with me and you subscribe to my channel for some more sketchbook adventures. Don't forget to like this video and I hope to see you soon for some more drawing adventures. Have a fabulous day. Bye!